Hi, I'm Edie.
I'm Judy,
And together we're the Rainbow Grannies. Yay!
Woo! You have kids being bullied in school because they're coming from an LGBT family? Here's a clip to give you some advice what to do.
Dylan wants to ask the advice on how to deal with kids and school bullying him for having
Having
a
a
trans
trans parent.
parent. Wow.
Yeah. So, hey, Dylan. So the thing is, Disney. I mean, what's the school like? Because the schools I hear about in the UK all have anti-bullying, all have signs up saying "gays okay" and all of this. That they were really supportive. But I don't know where you live if it's like that.
And
But
if you're living and he's going to school someplace that is not gay friendly and it's not, I suggest you pack your stuff up and take him and go someplace where he can have a happy, nice life.
mhm,
Because for him to go to school every day and be in an unhappy space because you're being as happy as you can be now. You've
mhm,
put yourself in the place where you wanted to be. Now we've got to put him in a place that makes him happy and safe too.
mhm.
And
That's good.
it's I
And
know I know sometimes that puts your back against the wall and makes you have to make a real decision. But the real
it
decision is when from the moment we have children, our job
is
is
to
to
keep
keep
them
them
in a safe
safe
environment.
and to raise them good, to
It's a
raise them.
church school. Wow.
Well,
So,
then he needs to be somewhere. I don't know, church school. I don't know what kind of
hmm
school, but he needs to be someplace that he feels safe, loved, and warmed. So you're going to have to seek it out and put yourself,
right.
I mean, I hate to even say this, put
And I
yourself on the back burner for just a moment and make sure that he's just where he needs to be.
and the thing is that what we've always done. What I've done as a parent, I've gone to schools and sought out the principal and teachers and people who I thought would need to know who would be helpful, and let them know who I was and who my kid is, and we want my kid. Want everything to be okay. And
Yeah, but
so,
see, it worked out well for her,
right. But I'm
but she
saying
was
that. But
in
I
an
was
area
right.
where it was possible.
Right, because if it wasn't, then I would have had to move.
Right, because I grew up in a little small town in Ohio, and I know that I could not have gone there and tried to make it a more acceptable, happy place for my kid. I would have had to find a school and a happier town or whatever, because that little town I lived in would have not
hmm
made it nice for him, you know?
And the difficult thing is he's in his last year, so trying to write this out. My ex and I switched our Sunday school because they wouldn't let her pick him up without a court order. Right, your kids come first. Talk to your trans parent. It is their responsibility. Thank you for the advice.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it really is about. I mean, I
it's
kind of
about them.
yeah. It really is. I did a lot of footwork when my daughter was growing up. Everywhere she went, to daycare, to school, seeking out who was gay there and letting them know.
And I'll tell
And
you,
I live in the city, and so there were a lot of people who were gay. I mean,
well, and it's really hard too because we're so caught up in ourselves and like doing what we wanted to do for our whole lives and who we are. I mean, I made a lot of crazy decisions as coming out as a lesbian at a later life when my children were growing up and everything because I put them in situations that weren't, in their best interest,
hmm
because I was so busy thinking about myself and what
hmm
made me happy and thinking about my and what made it happy. And so I am very fortunate and blessed that everything worked out. My
hmm
kids had good friends and played sports and stuff like that, but it could have been
hmm
worse, because I was thinking about myself.
yeah, I helped raise my niece, and she is like my own child. She's 30 now. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
worry when my son gets older, will he have to deal with this kind of stuff because of having two dads? And
I think it's going to be
it
a
is.
lot easier,
hmm
as time goes on. I mean,
Right.
I know you're in Florida, but Florida's just like everywhere else. You got a crazy governor right now, but
hmm
I mean, there's always going to be two dads. There's more and more two
hmm
dads and two
hmm
moms and a biracial and an interracial. And I mean, have you noticed the TV? You can't watch a commercial that doesn't have an interracial couple on it. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when there was a time when we were just surprised to see a black person on a commercial. So now I actually look in depth at these commercials.
Yeah.
You see a black woman and a white guy, and then you see this beautiful curly headed kid, and because they're working hard to make sure that the kid looks like it came from both these parents and stuff like that. And so there was a time where that wasn't even happening on the
Mm-mm.
TV.
Mm-mm.
So as time goes on, it's going to be a little bit more and a little bit more, and there's going to be other kids in his class that have two
Mm-hmm.
dads, and other kids that have two moms, and you're going to involve him in all kind of organizations and sports that are
Mm-hmm.
allowing him to have that, because even with like P Flag in them, they
Mm-hmm.
have like, or like that Hugh Wells,
Mm-hmm.
they have like a picnic and events that involve children so that you can
Right.
bring the kids there to play with other kids that have trans moms and trans dads. And it was just,
Yeah.
we went to their picnic and it was just so nice to
Right.
see all these children playing, and they weren't even like thinking anything about his mom is his
Yeah.
dad or has a dress on or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, that is your lane wellness center.
Right.
Right. So yeah, when I mean, I'm trying to think of two things because we live in an area where there's a whole lot of support, and in the area we are, and the gay parents, we went to the school board to really inform the school board that there are a lot of kids coming from gay families, and so we want their support, and we want them to learn. We want the school to learn the history of LGBT community. I mean, we did a lot of work with the school board, educating people, and then with the teachers and the principal. Then you find out they've all got gay people in their family.
Right.
So then they start, and they were hiding that they have all these gay people in their family. But when they see the parents coming, it's like, oh, okay.
So they
Now
get a
that's
chance
the,
to come out too. That means
mm-hmm,
they get a chance. They may not be
mm-hmm,
gay, but they got a chance to come out and say, "Oh, my sister's gay, and her little boy
mm-hmm.
wants to do dance class," you know.
And
And
you've got that whole family support. So now the school, because the school has to be aware of the parents, but when they see this is what the parents want. Now, say you're in an area where it's a small area, or and there isn't that much support around, and that's what we're saying, that if any way possible to move, is you can't work with the system, then move with a system's already been worked with.
yeah.
Ooh.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.